Hi everyone, today I am diving into the world of Halton Academy to analyze a character whose journey is aspiring, as it is heartbreaking, Neil Perry from Dead Poets Society. To understand Neil's journey, we have to look past the surface level rebellion. I'll be synthesizing the romantic poetic tradition with Carl Roger person-centered theory of psychology. By looking through these two lenses, we can see that Neil wasn't just a boy who wanted to act. He was a soul trapped in a state of profound psychological incongruence. First, let's define our poetic tradition. Romanticism, rising in the late 18th century. Romanticism was a reaction against the cold, clinical logic of the Enlightenment. It championed three core principles. 1. Individualism, the belief that the internal self is the ultimate authority. 2. Emotional intensity, the idea that feelings should be felt deeply and acted upon. 3. Nature and freedom, a rejection of rigid social structure in favor of natural expression. In the film, Mr. Kidding introduced Neil to the romantic ideas through the phrase "Carpe diem," seize the day. Romanticism became his permission to finally listen to his own heart over the roar of tradition. To explain why this romantic awakening was so dangerous for Neil, we turn to Carl Rogers. Rogers argued that for a person to grow, they need an environment that provides them with unconditional positive regards. Neil, however, lives under conditioned positive regards. His father's love and approval are tied strictly to Neil's obedience and his future as a doctor. This creates what Rogers calls incongruent. On one hand, Neil has his ideal self, the vision of him shaped by romantic poetry, creative, expressive, and free. On the other hand, he perceived self, the vision he showed his father, submissive, studious, and trapped. When these two selves are forced to coexist without any overlap, psychological stress is inevitable. To see the romantic tradition in action, we look at the poetry Mr. Keating uses to wake up his student souls, specifically the line of "Fault with Mom." Answer, that you are here, that life exists and identity, that the powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse. In the Romanticism, the verse is the individual contribution to the world. For Neil, this poem acts as the catalyst for his ideal self. White Monk isn't telling Neil to be a doctor. He's telling Neil that he has a unique identity that must be expressed. This is the moment that romantic tradition collide with Neil's psychological development. He stops seeing himself as a future doctor and starts seeing himself as a contributor to the powerful play of life. In this clip, notice Neil's physical transformation. According to Rogers, when an individual started moving toward their individual self, they experienced a burst of energy and creativity. Neil is finally expressing congruence, even if only for a moment. He is seizing the day, and for the first time, his action matched his internal desire. The romantic idea of carpe diem is literally healing his psychological state here.
If you listen real close, you can hear them whisper their legacy to you. Go on, lean in. Listen. You hear it? Hear it?
the romantic tradition, the ultimate goal is to be true to oneself at all costs. But psychologically, Carl Rogers tells us that human needs acceptance to strive. Neil was caught in lethal double bind. His ideal self, the actor, was born through poetry, but his real self was still a dependent student. Because his father provided only conditional positive regards, Neil felt that to be the actor meant he had to see being the son. In his mind, there was no middle ground. The romantic burst he wanted to be contribute was sliced by the psychological weight of his environment. His final act wasn't just a surrender. It was a tragic attempt to claim the self that his reality would not allow to exist. Ultimately, Neil Perry's journey shows us that while poetry can set the mind, our psychological environment determines if we can survive the freedom. Neil lived a lifetime of romantic intensity in just a few weeks, but without psychological safety of congruence, the pressure became too much. As we look at Neil's journey through the lens of Rogers and the Romantics, we are reminded that seizing the day requires more than just a courage. It requires a word that allow us to be our authentic selves.